Hey everyone, Kaye here on my homestead in Tennessee. Well, we're coming into a huge heat wave this week with mid-90s temperatures. This is after having some cool weather, so it's going to be a radical shift. And we've had rain, on and off, a lot of rain. So this week is going to be hot and dry, and guess what I've got growing? Brassicas. Well, those are cool season plants. I planted them late. By the way, the name of my channel is Late Bloomer for a reason. I usually am doing so many things that things get planted late or harvested late or something. Yesterday I harvested beans late. That was not good. So I wanted to protect the broccoli. It's mainly broccoli. There's some kohlrabi down there and maybe some cabbages on the end row. I'm not sure. But when I was down there, I formulated this idea in my mind how I'm going to protect these, because it dawned on me after I got down there that they're going to cook in that heat. Now they are in the most shady, the least amount of direct sunlight spot in my whole large garden down there. So that's a plus. They don't have to be baking for 10 hours or 12 hours like if you had a flat garden with no trees. I've got trees. By the time the light gets around that corner over there, there's about 5 or 6 hours of direct sunlight before it gets behind that other tree on the downside. So I formulated this idea and Chase helped me put it together. So I'm going to show you that, how I am preparing my brassicas for the heat wave. And also, when I lifted the netting, which had protected them from our good friend, the little white butterfly, it's white with a little black spot, but it's only this big. It's about that big. And I have seen them flying all over around my flowers. They have to sup nectar from flowers also. So when you see them flying around your flowers, they're just supping nectar. But they're going and laying their eggs on your brassicas, which is mainly broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, collards. That's basically what they go after, and they literally eat it to the stems. There was an extreme case in my California garden, which I did profile in a video 10 years ago, and I don't know how I could find that. So don't worry, you'll see it right here. So if you're not familiar with the cabbage worm, you're going to be, so stay tuned. This thing will nude. It will take the plant down to the stems very quickly. And I'm going to give you a good look right now. Okay, this is the first time my bee balm has bloomed. I had so much wild bergamot last year all over the garden that I planted, started in seed and planted, and none of it bloomed. And I'm starting to think it's a biennial bloom. I don't know. But isn't that gorgeous? Oh, wow. Such a lovely surprise. And check out these rattlesnake pole beans. I haven't grown them in 3 years. And so the seeds weren't fresh. And look at these vigorous vines. All this rain, I guess, Okay, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna take this cover off and I'm gonna double the width of the cover and give these plants some height, some room to grow up. Okay friends, I took the netting off of the first 2 rows, revealed what's underneath. I have weeded, although there weren't many weeds, there was a lot of hay in here, and it's shaded by the big leaves. This looks like mostly broccoli. I had about 6 different kinds of broccoli, I think, and this is kohlrabi. And I think there's another, yeah, there's a kohlrabi down here too. And there was some insect damage, definitely, especially on this first one. And I just wanted to point out all the frass. This is the poop. That is the poop of a worm, and the poop is all over this plant, so we can look for a worm. I don't know if we'll find one. We've got one good leaf here. We've got one good leaf here that isn't destroyed. But if I have to sacrifice one at the end of the row, and look at all of that poop in there, wow. Just in case you've never seen it, sort of looks like little capers or something, in pellets. See if we can find us a worm. Would be hard to believe that there isn't one with all of this poop, grass. I mean, these are completely eaten. This one looks kind of untouched for some reason. Okay. Now this is all crunched up like this because the netting was holding it down so it didn't develop properly. This is my bad, because I knew 2 weeks ago or more that I should have gotten a bigger cover for this thing, and I didn't do it. And it got eaten, although I don't see any worms. They must have moved on. And I think maybe this is sunburn. I'm not sure, because it certainly had plenty of water, but all the leaves on this one are yellow. Again, this is scrunched because of the fabric holding it down, but I am going to spray these with bug brew, which is safe for organic gardening, and cover this back up. Let's see. Sometimes when leaves are folded over, now that's just the fabric. Yeah. Can't believe we don't see any worms. They might have already metamorphosed for all I know. Okay. Just wanted to point out, with all this rain, these heavy plants like borage, they can't take it and they just collapse. This even happened to me in California, where there is virtually no rain, so they're just heavy and they shear off from the bottom. Let's see if we can get in there and show you. Yeah, down in there. You see, it literally shears off from the bottom of the plant. But it'll lay here and keep blooming. And did you know borage flowers are edible? You can eat them in salads. You can make tea from the leaves. I don't find that they have a lot of taste. Wanted to just show you, kind of let my tomatoes go wild. And at this point, I don't know if I can get them to be under control, but we've got a few tomatoes coming that look good. Beans running down the middle of this row, all 3 of these rows. This sunflower was laying flat on the ground when we got down here, and it is a 6-footer, and the trunk is that big. I only had small stakes with me, and so I've got 3 small stakes in here, and we've got another stake up here holding the break. There was a bend in the top one, and then I am saving the seeds of the top, because the top one is usually the biggest, not always, but yeah, I've got that bagged up. Okay, what can you see here? This is blue spice basil. Original seeds were from Baker Creek, and this is something that will really come back on you if you let the seeds go. This is Petra basil, solid burgundy really plant with pink flowers. I'm going to take these weeds away and give you another look. Okay, now you can get a better look. There's BJ back there. This is the blue spice basil. It has an incredible smell. Petra basil and more blue spice basil. Psst, psst. Psst, psst. She says, I'm busy eating grass, Mom. Okay, I knew we had to find them. They are so well disguised. Do you even see them in this picture? I'll point them out. There's one. And there's 2. And there's 3. No. So this is the caterpillar that does so much damage. And these are laid by the little white moths with a black spot that you see everywhere, all the time, all spring. That's the cabbage moth. Yep. You have to be relocated. Not interested. I didn't even see these. That's the 3rd one. Where are the others? I'm sure there's more. But I just sprayed that plant. I wouldn't think it would be too delectable at this point. There's number 4. Yep. Well, obviously they just cleaning up that whole row, that whole leaf right there. Okay, next plant. 2 more. 3, sorry. 4. Come here. Oh, I thought that was, no. 3 more on the next plant. They would have devoured that. Okay, one way to find these guys is if you look, if you see the frass, look above, in other words. Here's the frass, and there they were, eating away at this part. Now, all that really matters in broccoli is what happens in here. Same with cabbage. If this gets destroyed in there, same with corn. If that gets destroyed in there by a worm, you got nothing. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more. 5. See, your eyes have to get conditioned. They're exactly the same color. They're probably transparent, right? And they start eating these leaves and they turn exactly the same color. Okay. Okay, just a little advice. If you've only got 2 plants, you have to be vigilant. But when you have 20 plants, or whatever I have, 30, 40, I don't know, you could just give them the 2 plants at the end, and they can be the trap plant. And you can just sacrifice 2 or 3 and let them have it, and they'll eat it down, and then perhaps leave the rest of them alone. Don't forget, the egg has been laid on the plant, and it's not going anywhere except that plant. It's not going to crawl down to the ground and go up to another plant. It's going to stay on that plant until it reaches maturity and then goes off and forms a cocoon. So it's going to get all it can off of a particular plant. And I just found 2 more. So this plant, the first 2 plants were covered. And I can only imagine the moth got in the corner. Oops. Uh-oh. Laid the eggs, and then, you know, there they are. So look for your plants that have been eaten on. And that's probably where you're going to find them all. Hey, okay, so what I decided to do, rather than laying the netting directly on the plants, which could get beaten down still, I decided to give them a break and put in a hoop. Now I have had these extra pieces of, this is called concrete ladder mesh. I got it at Home Depot. I think it comes in 10-foot lengths. And rather than use the PVC like I did on the blueberries, because this is a very different plant, I decided to use this concrete ladder mesh, and the ends are plain. You just shove them down in the ground about 5 inches on each side, and I'm hoping that the wind doesn't blow it all down. And I'm just going to pin the sides, hold the sides down with rocks, which I have an abundance of. And also, since now we're at June 21st, by the way, this is the longest day of the year, folks. It's going to get really hot next week, and these Brassicas do not have a prayer without shade cloth. So Chase has run up to the other garden to get the shade cloth, and I'll show you the final result. Okay, here we go. This was a shade cloth that was on one of my terraces, my tomato terraces, but all that got retrofitted this year. I'm doing something different up there, and this is going to be great. This is going to give the Brassicas a chance to develop without being burned up in the sun next week. So there you have it. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I hope you will. Click that bell for notifications, scroll down and click all so you won't miss an episode. I could be talking about gardening, cooking, plant medicine, current events, health matters, or much more. You can see all of these broken down on the playlists on my homepage, and I hope you will check it out. Thanks so much. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. I know. We're going up. Yeah, we're going up now. Let's go.